Hi, this is Judy, and today's video is going to be what is God and what is soul? And the what is God part is only going to be talked about as it relates to soul, because there's a whole other part of what is God that I really want to talk about separately. But before I get started, how about hitting that subscribe button for me? Maybe hit the notification bell. And why not give me a like when you're done listening to this video if you liked it. This is going to be a little bit harder to explain as far as what is soul. It's going to be a little harder to explain because it's very simple. It's such a simple, obvious explanation. You know, it can't be any simpler. However, explaining something that's simple sometimes it's hard to find the right words, or hard to explain in a way that's not going to confuse somebody more. So I'm going to try very, very hard to keep it as simple as possible, knowing that the conglomerate of videos I'm making will, at some point, make sense to anybody who takes the time to listen to them all. And I know that's a lot. So I think this is number 11 already, which is pretty amazing because the list of things I want to talk about is so long. But this is an important one because it'll be easier to explain some of the other things I want to talk about if you understand what I know soul to be. And this is just my belief. This is not a religion. This is just spirituality from Judy's everything to your everything. All right. So I'm not going to talk about where soul started, where it came from, any of that stuff. I just really want to keep the idea of what is soul. And then, you know, we can branch off in a couple of other videos. Easiest way to do it, I think. Anyway, so you want to think of soul, and this is the best way for me to explain soul. And like I said, I'm going to touch a little bit on God, but only a tiny bit. Compare God to your body. Now, obviously God is bigger than your body, but just kind of hear me out. So in your body there are jobs for different organs and muscles to do. Your heart, you know, your brain, your eyes, your mouth, your stomach, lots of different things that your body needs to do. And so those would be considered some kind of maybe tasks. You could think of your body as having tasks that it needs to do. And even going inside of all of that, into your blood, for instance, you know, blood has a purpose. It actually helps those organs to do what they're supposed to do. And, you know, it's a wonderfully intricate system, but very simple, just like soul. So if you can just kind of imagine, this is metaphoric, of course, it's not actual, but I want you just to imagine for the comparison. All the little molecules, atoms, whatever you want to call them, we can even just go with blood cells, even though there certainly are more than just blood cells. I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. Let's just picture blood cells, because they're a little easier than atoms and all the other molecules and all that stuff. So let's picture blood cells. There's a body, and it has organs and different things going on all the time. And it also has blood, which carries oxygen to the muscles and to the organs, and nutrients of those kinds, takes waste products back out. Those blood cells, millions of them inside of our body at all times. If you could imagine, again, metaphorically or symbolically, however you want to think, that God is represented by a human body. That's, again, not in real life. We're just comparing for the idea. If God is a body, the little cells, the little blood cells, would be souls. They go to do the job they need to do, and then they leave. Sometimes dying out and others being created. Now, I don't know that soul ever dies. I don't believe that, but this is, again, just a metaphor, so you can kind of imagine what I'm talking about. So if we are soul, not Judy, but soul, if my soul is a cell in the body of God, that means that I can't be God because I'm just one cell. But God can be me. Me as soul, not Judy. So the jobs that we have to do as soul, we come to earth to do, or we come wherever we go to do the job, would be like the blood cells going to do their thing with the muscles and organs in the body. Now, that's not to say God needs work. I'm just using it very loosely so I can kind of get you where I am so I can take you on further. But this is such a basic idea that soul is not on it by itself, not God. Soul can never be God because soul would need all the other souls combined to be God. Because that's what God would be, a combination of all this energy. And God can then be you and me because it's the vessel holding the blood, right? That body is what's holding the blood. So if we are little tiny sparks of God, little pieces that float around trying to get a job done, make sure it's done right, would that job ever be complete? That's another video. I'm always hoping I have you sitting on the edge of your seat. Meanwhile, you're thinking, oh boy, she's just... I know I'm not that interesting of a speaker when it comes to this stuff because I don't have a plan. I'm just trying to figure out a way of explaining the way I see things. And it's my way alone. I don't know if there's anybody else in the world really that has thinks like this. And it's an odd thing because to most people, the idea of soul is simply a spirit or ghost that sort of looks like we do, float up to heaven or go down to hell or wherever your religion sends that soul. And again, for some people, there is no soul. It's just an organic thing that dies. But if you can imagine that you are bigger, your soul is a part of something much bigger than just you, you know, that you're just kind of like something to achieve a purpose. And if you can imagine that soul is an enormous amount of energy, you know, true energy. But when it leaves the confines of a body, it's free floating. And this is where it's, you know, flowing with the other souls to do the jobs that they need to do. And we have help. Because all the souls around you in your life, all the people around you in your life, have souls within them that know your soul. You've done a lot of stuff together. That's why you're in life together right now, helping each other with whatever the job is. And you'll both have probably very individual jobs. They won't be connected, but they can be done together. So the people that you work with, that you're closer with, friends, relatives, even sometimes, don't you meet somebody sometimes and you feel like I've known them forever? Or there's just something about that person. I feel so, not physically or sexually, but so attracted to that person. When I look them in the eye, I can really, it's just like they're looking right through me. There's a reason that happens. Because they are familiar. You've probably had, 50 lives with them before. They're very familiar to you. There's more about soul. If you want to start thinking about soul mates and that kind of stuff, I'll talk about that too. Because that is actually a real thing, but it's not like most people think. It's not what people think. And you're probably wondering, how does she know all this stuff? Like, who is she to tell me what my energy of soul is and God's body and the blood? What the heck is she talking about? And, I'll tell you who I am and how I know. Briefly, extremely briefly, because that's a story. I'm Judy, and I'm a childbirth educator. I'm a mother of 3 children and a grandmother at this point of 7 grandchildren. I'm 67 years old. And how do I know this stuff? I feel like I've known a lot of things for most of my life, but I wouldn't have been able to explain them or articulate them. And I don't know that I would have known where they were coming from, where that information was coming from. But I have had a couple of experiences, starting in 1997 until about 3 minutes ago. I've had some experiences that I was not looking for, that I did not expect, that I did not try to have, that have led me down a really fascinating road since 1997, which is some time back now, right? And I've been fortunate enough to have, I'll call it help, in seeing who we really are, why we're really here. And when I learned these things, I didn't learn them in one fell swoop. I'm still learning, to be honest with you. Little bits at a time that finally came together. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because I think even if only one person out there who watches it goes, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way, that makes so much sense. And I've somehow given them an answer. Maybe that'll be my purpose, and maybe then I'll die. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what my purpose is. I really don't. I know what I'm drawn to do. I'm drawn to talk about this kind of stuff for sure. And I'm definitely drawn to teaching people about childbirth. Are either of those my thing that I'm supposed to come do, or are they just pathways to my thing? I don't know. But I do know that I've been extremely, extremely lucky. And I know I'm not alone in this. There's other people too. But in my life, in my story, very, very lucky to have had the experiences that I've had and have been able to learn simple things that everybody should know. But we get so caught up in our lives. We get so caught up in our financial situation. We get so caught up with relationships that we don't really step back and watch. So here's a trick a friend of mine told me back in, this was probably 1999, maybe 2000. I don't remember what was going on at that time. Maybe I was upset about something, or maybe somebody I knew was upset about something. I don't know. But my friend said to me, instead of taking the time to be upset, because when you're upset, you can't think straight anyway. So why don't you just pretend for a second that you're sitting in the audience, big theater, watching a play. And what you're watching is you and whoever else that you're having the issue with, whatever's going on in your life. It's like you're watching it from the audience rather than being in the middle of it, in the midst of it, in the emotion and the upset or whatever it is. So instead of being in it, take a second, sit in the audience, look at the characters, look at the dialogue, see what's going on, and then recognize how is that important? Or, you know, if she shouldn't say that to him, she should wait for a second and then she should say this. You know, you see it different. It's a different perspective. Perspective is an enormously important thing to understand. When you can sit in the audience and watch what's going on around you as if you aren't, that's just an actor up there, it's not really you. That's kind of how Soul is. Soul's a little bit more active, you know, maybe the screenplay has been written by Soul, but the real you, the truest you, which is Soul, not Judy or Tom, Dick, or Harry, this is a body I'm using. So this is the actor on the stage. As Soul, and I sit back and watch, I can determine what should probably be happening and where Judy might be making her mistakes to achieve whatever the goal is. Does that make sense? I don't really want to go into too much more because there's so many, like I say, tributaries. But let me know what you think about the whole idea that we are all a part of God, that God is not separate from us necessarily, that we are a part of God, and that Soul has written the screenplay for what we're doing here. Now we have free choice, we have lots of options, we don't have to just do it the way, you know, Soul thinks we should. I don't think Soul has an opinion. It's almost as if, okay, this is what we're going to try to achieve, go. So you have a destiny, how you get to that destiny, how you achieve that goal, and how long it takes, how many lives it might take, right? Depends on what choices you make, and you have lots of choices to get to that goal. I could be, you know, a really hard worker, but don't have any relationships because of my hard work, and I miss out a chance to get to that goal. You know, maybe it's a relationship goal. Maybe it's some other, whatever the goal is, it's going to be about, the bottom line is going to be about learning a little bit more what love actually is. And that's why we're here. Bottom line. Let me know what you think. You can tell me I'm crazy, that's okay. I just hope you'll keep watching. So if you like this even a little bit, hey, give me a like. And I love comments, so please do leave some comments, and hopefully I will hear from you again in another video. Have a great day.